Okay, thanks, Liam. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our first get-together as Digital Special Interest Group of this year. For those of you who haven't met me, I'm Louis Holmes. I'm a Senior Policy Officer at Care England, and I help Daniel with the running of our DSIG. So today's session, we've got together some members from the Microsoft Champs team and Canford Healthcare to basically help demonstrate what the benefits of the Microsoft 365 package are, and to kind of show providers and members what they can get most out of their package. So with me today I have Liam, Tom and Jamie from the Microsoft Champs team, and also Amanda Rae, who is the Quality and Compliance Manager at Canford Healthcare. So we're going to start with a demonstration by the Microsoft Champs team, and then we'll move over into Amanda's demonstration before opening up the floor to any questions. Please remain on mute throughout the demonstrations. At the end, at the Q&A, raise your hands or put any questions in the chat box and we'll come and answer them. So without further ado, I'll move over to the Microsoft Champs team to have their demonstration.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Louis. So hi, everyone. Lovely to meet you all today. I'm Liam from Microsoft and I'm part of the Modern Work Champs, as Louis said. And we've got a quick demo for you today where we're going to talk through 4 different M365 applications, how you can use them and how they can be best utilised for care homes. So to start off with, I'll just quickly start off my slides. Please bear with me for a second. And just give me a thumbs up when you can see my slides as well.
Yeah, we can see those.
That's great. Thank you very much. Brilliant. So just a quick note before we start as well, in more actions on Teams, you'll actually see there's an option to turn on live captions for the meeting if that's something you want. So just a quick note before we start that you can turn them on. But without further ado, I'll start by introducing everyone. So I'm Liam, a Surface Specialist from Microsoft and also a Modern Work Champ. And Modern Work Champs is our team dedicated to demoing all M365 applications to our customers. Jamie, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself as well.
Yep, thanks Liam. My name's Jamie. I'm an adoption change management consultant. Again, I'm aligned to Modern Work, so I've got a good amount of experience within Modern Work and M365 applications, and work closely alongside Liam and Tom in delivering these demos. So I'll hand over to Tom.
Yes, and like they both said, that I'm Tom Clough. I'm a customer success manager in the financial sector, so I work with insurances and bank companies. But I also work in Modern Work Champs alongside my beautiful colleagues Jamie and Liam. So that's a bit of us. So if we just go through to the agenda, hopefully that'll be particularly the agenda here. So we're going to go through Microsoft Planner, then we're going to go through Microsoft Lists and how you can use them for action plans. Then you've got forms for audits, and then hopefully SharePoint if we've got enough time at the end. So I just quickly want to take you through this slide here, just for the context of collaborative work management. So M365 offers you a powerful suite of tools, where you can confidently create, organize and track and share information and files, tasks and more communications. And from a content and communication perspective, OneDrive and SharePoint, they are your file management in one system of storage, so it'll make it easier for you to find and share exactly what you need. Outlook will provide you a central hub for managing communication through emails, appointments, and organization directory. And if you want to do team tracking or for individual tasks, you can use Planner or Microsoft To Do to create tasks, add due dates and mention others to assign and engage with them. And then once this task is finished, it'll disappear from your view. And then if you want to track and manage a variety of types of information rather than just those tasks that disappear once you've completed them, you can use Microsoft Lists and you can specify what type of information you need to track and customize how you want to organize various scenarios. And then obviously there's Microsoft Teams, which will bring all of this together in your one-stop shop. And you can use Microsoft 365 services like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Microsoft Lists, which I'll take you through myself, Planner as well. And you can use all of this within Teams, meaning that you won't need to jump between 6 different applications in order to collaborate with everyone together. So I just did quickly want to take you through that, but I do want to hand back over to Liam, who's going to take you through Microsoft Planner.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Tom. So what actually is Microsoft Planner? Well, Planner is your to-do list, but instead of a traditional to-do list where it focuses on your individual tasks, Planner focuses more broadly on the team and what tasks they need to do. So this means that you can assign tasks to different members of your team, and it also means that you can check in on the progress of any tasks that are being done. Now, why is that useful? Well, you can effectively track and distribute tasks, and what's key is that it's all in one place for you to see. So for a manager, that could be really useful because they can see what tasks their employees are doing and see maybe who's got a bit too much work, who can take on a bit more of a workload and help people out. And then for you, it's just looking at what your colleagues are doing and whether they can help you out with the task if you find that there's too much on. And I wanted to take you through how I think care homes can best use that. And I think the best way to do that is probably just via quickly talking you through all of Planner in a demo. So I'll share my screen quickly and take you through a bit more on Planner. Should all be okay. Can you all see that? Is that all okay?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yep, got you.
Brilliant. So this is Microsoft Planner. This is what happens when you open it up. This is a plan that I've built out already. So normally there wouldn't be quite so much in there, but this is sort of broadly what your planner would look like. And I'll just take you through bit by bit what's in here. So we've obviously got the names. This is care home tasks. I've tried here to just represent a few daily care home tasks. Excuse me if it's a little bit off. I just had to do a bit of research to see what sort of tasks I think would go on. But you start off on your board, and this is the board here. And within your board, you've got different buckets. So these are the different buckets here. We've got meals, medication, and care home activities. And within those buckets, that's where you put the tasks. So any tasks that you have to do. So for example, under meals, we have lunch for residents. Now that's a task that we know we need to do. But within that task, you can actually go into it as well. So I'll quickly just click on that. And here you can see the layout of what a task would look like. So you can see right at the top here, this is what the task is. It's lunch for residents. That's what we need to get done. And then below you can see who's actually assigned to that task. So I'm on what's called a demo tenant. So I'm actually signed in as Diego Siciliani today, and that's me. So that task is assigned to me and I know I need to do that. If I need help with that task or to assign someone else to that task, I can also do that by simply clicking here. And if I click on that, I can see I can type in any name of my organisation to help out, but I've got a few people who are already there. So I can add Alex Wilbur, for example, and I'll click on that there. And then below that, I can see what bucket it's in. Now it's in meals. That's the bucket I want to keep it in for now. And also the progress that it's at. So you can see that this task is in progress, but as soon as I've completed it, I can tick complete and it will tick it off for me as well. Then you can also see the priority. So at the moment, it's a medium priority, but as we move throughout the day, I may want to move that up to an important priority as well. And then you can set start dates and due dates. For this one, I don't really need a start date, but I did set a due date because it needs to be done today. And then below that, you also have your notes section. So notes is particularly helpful for something like this. This could be where you put different allergies for residents. It just can be quite handy for that. And this can also be done in a checklist format, as you can see here, and you can add any attachments that you want to add there. Once you're finished with all of this as well, once you're finished with going through the tasks, you don't need to save it or anything like that. You can simply click X off of it and it will be done. And as you can see, because I ticked that off, it's now in my completed task section under the meals as well. And then very similarly, all of these tasks are quite similar. You click on them again and you've got the different tasks, who they're assigned to and what sort of stage they're at and when they need to be done by. So that's really the board for you. That's how it looks. And that's probably most similar to your usual to-do list that you've seen before. But where it gets a little bit different and can actually be quite handy to track is when you go onto the chart section up here. So that was the board. This is now the charts. And if you go onto the charts, it gives you a slightly different layout. Now, there's quite a few charts coming up here, but it really is quite simple. At the top here, you've got 6 tasks left. So I know if I'm a manager, I could be looking at that and thinking that's the amount of tasks I need to do. And also I can see how urgent all of these different tasks are as well that I want to do. And then you can see it per buckets as well. So I know that there's a lot of tasks in the bucket, care home activities. So that's something we need to focus on. And also I can see how high priority all of the different tasks are. Now, I think probably one of the most useful sections for the charts area is if you scroll down to members, you can actually see how many tasks each member has. So I can see here that Alex Wilbur has quite a few tasks, and that's when I can start delegating tasks and thinking, okay, he's got quite a few tasks. Maybe Diego can help out or Patty can help out. And that's where it can be really quite useful. The final view I think I'll show you as well is called schedule. If I just click on schedule here. And this is similar to a calendar format. So you can see all of your tasks here, but it's just in a bit more of a calendar format instead. So it just might be a bit easier when you're trying to plan it around your diary as well. So that's really quite a broad overview of what Planner looks like and how you can use it day to day. The final thing I also thought I'd show you as well is if you click on care home tasks up here, there's just a bit of customization you can do too. So you can pick different backgrounds you want to use. So if I want to change the background, I could click here. And it just makes it a little bit nicer for everyone to see as well. Then if you go up to group up here, there's an ability to change the group description. So anyone I add to the group knows what the group is actually about, and I can tell them what the group's for without them messaging me. And then also if we go into notifications, this is really handy because this basically shows you whether you want someone to be emailed as soon as they have a task assigned to them, or whether you want them to be emailed if a task that's assigned to them is late. You may want to turn these off, or you may actually want them to receive the emails, so that can be quite handy as well. So that's really a broad overview of what Planner is, what it looks like, and how you can use it. If you wanted to make a plan like this, all you need to do is click on New Plan up here, and then you can start creating the plan, and it's pretty much everything I've just shown you as well. So that's Planner, and that's really the overview of Planner from me. And I'm going to quickly pass on to Tom, who's going to talk a little bit more about Microsoft Lists as well.
Perfect, thanks Liam. Hopefully the slides are going to be loading back up, and just give us a thumbs up when you can see them again. Cool, I'm getting a few thumbs up now. So I did want to start my section with a little video because, you know, I know I'm in the middle and people's attention span might start to dip a little bit. So I'll just play this short video for you here.
It's not playing. You need to change the setting in Teams to play it.
Cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little 40-second video, or however long it was. And I did want to tell you about Microsoft Lists.
I didn't see anything. Sorry, was.
Oh, sorry. Pardon. Thought someone had a question then. But no, like it said in the video, Microsoft Lists is an M365 app which can help you create, share, and track a variety of information, and to help you organize work more effectively. So lists are smart and flexible, help you stay on top of what really matters in your team. Now, lists are smart because they allow you to keep everyone in sync without requiring, you know, a lot of time on your part. And this includes rules that notify stakeholders with customizable triggers. It also has powerful features which enable you to use Power Automate or flows built inside. So for instance, if there's a change to the list or change to the cell in the list, then someone may get notified, for instance. And also you can comment and mention people and bring relevant people into the conversation and into the lists, and you can increase that collaboration aspect there. So not only are lists smart and flexible, but they're also very easy to create, easy to share, and easily accessible across several devices. You know, for instance, you can load Microsoft Lists from the Microsoft Store, and you can also add Microsoft Lists as a tab in your Microsoft Teams channel. And you can also see in this slide that there's a mobile functionality app that provides you, you know, all the same functionalities you would on the web or on Teams, that through your phone. So, like I mentioned, this is what it would look like on Microsoft Teams. But I did want to take you through a quick demo like Liam did. So hopefully I'm just going to share my screen real quick. Let's keep my fingers crossed. Are we able to see this page here? Just give us a quick thumbs up if you can.
See that, Tom?
Cool. Perfect. So like Liam, I am just in a demo tenant right now. And as you can see, my name is actually Alex Wilbur up here. So I am using the web browser version of everything. So please don't be alarmed if you think that's you know, something you're worried with. It's exactly the same, like I said, on the Teams version and on the app version as well. But I'm just in Microsoft Office login here. Cool. So I wanted to. So as you can see, I've got Microsoft List pinned in here. So let's open that up in a new link. But as I did want to point your attention to this Excel spreadsheet which I just created, and I'm aware that Care England, you are using Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. So I hope you can agree that this is just quite a simple Excel spreadsheet. But I did want to show you that you can import these into Microsoft lists and make them look a little bit more creative, a bit like they are here. You can start to mention people in here, and you can see it's a bit more appealing on the eye. Now I did want to take you through the steps on how you can create this. So as I opened up Microsoft Lists previously, this is the home screen. You can see the recent lists here, and you can see I've got a favourites up here. Now to add maybe a recent list into your favourites, you can just hover over it and click the star as you do here. And then to remove it, you can just obviously unclick that there. But I did want to take you through the new list button here. So you get a few options. You get the option to start from a blank list. Now, this is exactly what it says on the tin. It's just a completely blank list where you're going to input data manually. You also have templates, and Microsoft are offering you maybe an issue tracker template. They're going to offer you, for instance, event itinerary template. However, because I set up that very simple Excel spreadsheet, and I'm aware that you are using Excel spreadsheets, I wanted to show you how you can import data from Excel into Microsoft Lists. So I'll go ahead and click that, and click this Care England Excel spreadsheet I made, and click next. Now it's going to bring you to a page where you've got to describe the data type in each of the columns. Now, like everything that is Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, Microsoft Lists will automatically decide what sort of data set is in each column, and it will get it right pretty much 9 out of 10 of the times. However, like everything that is automated, it's probably worth just checking that it is correct. So for instance, my shift status, I want this to be a choice, say data type, and I'll explain why later. But we'll go up and click the next button here because I know everything else is correct. And then it's just going to ask you to label your Microsoft list, and they give you a brief description. So we're going to say February shifts. Then obviously you can choose a color if needs be, and a little icon. Now this save to is quite interesting because this means that it will allow you to save into a Microsoft Teams on a tab along the top. So because I'm working in this Mark 8 project team and I want this list to be relevant in there, I'm going to click save in there. And when I click create, sorry, we can't save to Mark 8 project team. We'll save it to the retail team. Sorry. And once I click create here, we'll let that create, and I'll load up this Microsoft Teams I have here. So if I go into the retail team, which is here, I will be able to add lists along the top with on the tab icon here. So if I load up Microsoft Lists by clicking the plus, and then hopefully as it appears there, it appears right at the top for me. Click save. You can see we've got Microsoft Lists added to the top. Now, this list is now created. And if I did want to add this into Microsoft Teams, I'd go back into Teams, I can add the existing list, and there we go. You can see it comes up straight away. And now it's obviously you can work within Teams, in that one-stop shop like I described earlier. And it's exactly the same data, we've got the names of the employees here on the left, exactly the same as what they were here. But I just do want to stay within Microsoft Lists just to make it a little bit easier. So the difference between this list and this list, which I prepared earlier in classic Blue Peter style. So I'm going to originally change the formatting. So if we go into all items and format current view, you can obviously change it to alternative styles, and it just makes it a little bit easier on the eye. And it's just a nice place it's a nice way in how to start your list. Now, another thing that I noticed between this list, which we're making together, and this list here, is that I've got a count between the number of employees. I've got a count of the number of residents, and as you can see, they're matched. They're both 14, which is exactly what we want. So to do this, you would click the left click or normally click on the column here, go to totals and go into count, and the 14 would appear there. I'm going to do exactly the same here too. Cool. Now, hopefully you're still with me there. It's a nice, easy step to start off with. So the next thing I want to take you through is the shift column here. So as you can see, for anyone in the morning shift, I've got the cell highlighted in green. Anyone in the night shift, like James Bond here, I want them to be in that dark blue or purple color. To do this, we're going to go into, we're going to click on the column here, go to column settings and format this column. Now, there's only one option here, conditional format, which is what we want to do. And we're going to add a rule. If the shift is equal to morning, I want this to turn green. Okay, and once I click save, and then I'm going to add a new list, a new rule, sorry. If the shift is equal to night, I want this to be that dark blue, purpley colour, and click save. Now, hopefully, once I click into edit grid view and exit, as you can see, this has changed and it's a little bit more appealing on the eye. So I hope, again, you're still with me about that. The next thing I wanted to compare the difference is the shift status. Now, if you remember, this was the one I specifically changed to choice. So when we go into column settings and format this column again, it's going to give us a choice pill instead of that conditional format. Now we can edit the styles. So when a shift status is completed, I want this to look green. When the shift status is in progress, I want it to be blue. And then when it's, not started, I do want it to be red. And we're going to click save again. So again, that was a nice, easy step right there. And then because day since last visitor, if that's what that column is called there, day since last visit, sorry. This was a data type which was numerical. We're going to go into format this column again. And this gives us the option for data bars. And we're going to click save. Now it kind of does exactly what it says there. It's going to create, those data bars, and obviously the longest that our resident has had a visit, the longer the bigger the bar graph is going to be there. Now this could come in handy, for instance, say someone has had a visitor in a while, maybe you spend more time with them, things like that. But hopefully, you're all still with me, and that was relatively easy to do. Now, I do want to mention that you can use an alert me system, which will send emails to those people or set number of people who you will want to get the alerts for. So for instance, Megan Bowen, the manager, or whoever created the list. And you can also include Power Automate, which is a really cool way to automate a few things if anything changes in the list. Now, I did create a video which we're going to send out immediately after this presentation today. But because of time reasons, I did want to stop here. But feel free to ask any questions in the chat or ask any questions to Liam or myself afterwards. But hopefully the video will explain how you can use Power Automate, how you can use notifications in emails, and how you can kind of bring these lists to life and how you can implement them today. So hopefully that was really interesting. And yeah, obviously if you've got any questions, feel free to ask myself, Jamie, or Liam. But I think that's it for me. I'm going to pass over to Jamie now.
Perfect. Thanks, Tom. I'm just going to have to load up slides. Sorry, Tom, could you go onto the slides quickly? Cheers. Yeah, so given time constraints, I think I'll wrap up today with my demo on Microsoft Forms. So please let me know when you can see the screen. Thank you. Just loading up for me. Okay, great. So yeah, I'd love to introduce Microsoft Forms today, and more specifically how you can get the most out of this application for your work. So what is Forms? I'm sure you're already aware of Microsoft Forms, but essentially it's an online survey creator and feedback tool. One of the best aspects of Forms is the ability to use its built-in analytics system, and this is to evaluate responses and export the results to Excel for further analysis. And this essentially is the key part where I think Forms will have you covered. So why is it useful? Once we have a form detailing all of our needs, in this case with regards to auditing, it might be best used, we're able to utilize its features. So as it says on the slide, it can also be integrated with other applications such as Excel, Power Automate and Power BI in order to provide a comprehensive response system. So setting up automation then, how do we do this? Firstly, we create an Excel sheet within SharePoint Online. Let's say, for example, named Care England auditing data for our Excel sheet. and our form being Care England auditing form. So once we've set this up, we're ready for the automation factor to get involved. So I've also noted that some members in Care England have found Power Automate perhaps overwhelming, which is understandable given its many features and applications. It's quite a relatively complex tool as they come. So let's have a brief walkthrough now of where it can help, and after this call we can supplement it with a video to better help your understanding. So just wanted to briefly walk through the, I suppose, interoperability of the three applications and the foundation of how they interact. So on the left we have Forms, middle we have Excel, and right we have Power BI. So typically when using Forms and extracting this data and putting it into Excel, we would receive response data from Forms and have to manually put this into Excel. So once we also have this data in Excel, it's typically relatively hard to read and interact with. It doesn't offer too much in terms of a visual perspective. So with Power Automate, we can completely renovate this process. So as I mentioned before, the manual extraction of data from Forms to Excel, we can actually make that completely automatic and let Power Automate do that for us. So once we have this automatic data shift from Forms to Excel, we can also integrate Power BI, which allows for a more visual dashboard and presentation of your data from Excel. What's even better about this is that Power BI will update in real time as your Excel slide updates. So how do we set this up then? So here I've provided two screenshots from within Power Automate. Apologies as I can't give a full demo due to time constraints, but this should give you a really good foundation of understanding as to where to look. So Power Automate will essentially set up a flow, and this is a set of instructions. For example, being if someone submits a response to our form, take the data and put it into this Excel file, essentially taking our input out of the process. So as you can see on the left, there are many templates within Power Automate already if you simply type in Forms. Now, once we do type in Forms, obviously we've got a broad range, but for this example and this application targeting auditing and response data, we believe that the most useful template would be this one here. So track Microsoft Forms response in Excel and notify through Teams and email. Now, once we select this template, essentially think of the template being a predefined set of triggers, which creates a structure as to how we interact with Power Automate. So now we have that in mind, we're ready to go to the next step. So clicking on a template will bring us to this next window here. And this is, as you can see, what I was describing earlier as the flow. Now, once we select this template, it's as simple as filling out the drop-down menus, which we can see on the right. So for example, under Form ID, when we're linking the flow together, we would select Care England form data, as I described earlier. And the Excel document, we could input our Excel sheet, which we created earlier, which would be the Care England form auditing data, for example. So once we select the file, we then have access to actually drop in the particular table which you want this to apply to. And what's even better about this is that we're able to notify ourselves via either a Teams notification or Outlook notification of when this flow has been completed. So when our Excel table has been updated in this case. This really cuts out any of the anonymity or confusion of whether this tool is working or not. So I understand that this has been a really brief run through, and I'll have to wrap it up quickly, but my colleague Sam, who's not actually on this call, has created a really great in-depth video of how to go through Power Automate, how to utilize it, with particular reference to Care England, actually. So I'm really excited for you guys to watch it, and should there be any questions, please feel free to come off mute and we'll be more than happy to answer. But in the meantime, thank you for your time on this section.
Okay. Well, if there's no questions, Louis, are we okay to pass over to Amanda?
Yes, no, thank you for that, Jamie, Tom and Liam. That was incredibly useful, and I look forward to seeing the more in-depth videos afterwards. So what we'll do, if you wouldn't mind stop sharing your screen, and what we'll do, we'll pass over to Amanda, who will go through her experience and Canford's experience of using Microsoft.
Hi there, I'm Amanda. I'm the Quality and Compliance Manager for Canford Healthcare. When our friend COVID hit us, I needed to find a way to be able to monitor what was going on within the homes without having to be in the homes every day. I did a little bit of researching and a bit of puzzle fixing and came up with what I'm about to show you. It's been pretty revolutionary for us actually at Canford, and we've made a lot of changes through it, and it's become part of everyday use. So I will show you what I've got. It's that screen. Okay, so this screen here that I'm showing you, this is a SharePoint landing page, and we use this for communication to all of our homes and to our staff, so that they can find out what's going on, keep up to date, and also they have links into various websites that they would use daily. They have links onto other pages that they may use, and they have links to email addresses of the main team that they might want to contact. Within these bits up here, these will take us to exactly what they say they'll take us. So here is an accident and incident form that we use to fill in for staff. I've used Forms to create this. So Forms for me is a brilliant platform. Come on, please, if it will load. Because I've been able to utilise it for incident and accident forms. I've been able to utilise it for audits, and it comes up and like this, and it has drop downs. So when staff are filling it in, they don't have to type everything. There's drop downs, there's questions, and there's prompts. It was really quite easy to set up, because when you go into the forms program, it will give you all the prompts and the questions around. What I really like about this as well is that when an accident and an incident happens, or when an audit is submitted, I do get an email that tells me. I also have set up the Power BI backdrop that they were talking about, that will give me visuals on what's happening. This particular one is around safeguarding, and I did that slightly different to how we were just shown, because I did it by going into Power BI first and then just linking it into the forms that linked into the SharePoint. So I think there's more than one way to do things within SharePoint and within forms. So in regards to information, as you can see, I've got the government guidance. So the updates went in here, the links went direct in here. So maybe if I didn't keep up to date with any guidance changes, it wasn't too impactful, because people could click direct onto the link and it would take them direct into the government website. What else can I show you within this? As I say, this page here particularly is a communication page. So I've got here, this is some quality cycle survey results. This was actually created, and all these graphs were created from forms themselves, from the responses that they gave. And I'm sorry it's a bit quick, but I know we've only got 15 minutes and there's so much that I could show you, because there is a lot that can come out from it. So our teams, our regions, I just want to find region 1, they all have their own SharePoint page, and it's kind of like it's where they keep all their main audits, all their main documents, and we can keep a track of if anything's been changed or amended or updated. And what we've done is, with lists, we've embedded it into the SharePoint, and all of our audits go in here. And then our audits, when they're uploaded, they have an action plan that comes along the side. So they also have the audit attached. When you click on it, if we scroll down, you can see the attachment here, which will be the actual audit. I'm not going to open it because obviously that's got data that's relevant to the home, but you can see that attachments can be included. And every time that somebody has an action assigned, like the gentleman was saying earlier, these people here, they would have received an email when it happened. I've also linked the planner into the SharePoint page, and we've used it slightly differently to what the guys were saying. So we've used it for the daily, weekly and monthly prompts that people need to help keep them safe and to be able to remember to do what they need to do, because we all know managing a care home is busy, and it's really easy to forget some of the tasks that need to happen. So what we've done is we've set up using their labels here as daily and then weekly. If I go in, these are lists that we have decided we need to do on a daily thing within the home to make sure that they function. And then as the managers come past and they've done them, they will tick here, and then it will put a line through what they've done. What's also really good about this is, if for whatever reason the managers can't do it, or the trainers or whoever it's been assigned to, if they write a note in here, you can use comments. We don't, because if we use comments, it emails out to everybody else that's within that planner group. So we use notes, and we write in here why maybe we haven't been able to achieve something. And what happens then is that once a month I go in to the planner area here and I export into an Excel. So I export into an Excel, and then I can filter where the comments are, and I can have a look and see what the barriers are for people, and maybe other areas that we maybe need to put in to help them. So that's a brief bit of the planners. Now the audits, if I go back to the home page of here, I've linked all the audits that the homes need to do on a monthly basis that we ask for here, and they will click on, and it will take them to links of the audits that have been created. And if I click on one that I know isn't too big, so it'll open quickly. So infections, maybe the audit will be here. They'll put in what their regions are, and we'll get all of that information. They then tick here and submit it. They will get a copy of the response, and I will get a copy of the response. And then this is the document that they attach into that list where the action plan is that I was talking about earlier. What else can I show you? So in regards to the forms, when the information comes through, it sits in places like here. So I'll click on this one, the quality cycle feedback, because there isn't any sensitive data in there. And as you can see when it loads, if I go into responses here, you'll get some little diagrams, some pie charts, or however you've set it, that will give you your results. And then you can see what's going on. So it is really quite powerful, and it's really useful. And I'm a nurse by background. I've got no IT knowledge whatsoever. I have some 365 knowledge now, because obviously I've been playing around with this system, but I have no IT background. So I'm pretty sure that if I can do it, anyone can, and especially if you like puzzles. Within the list sections as well, this here is just me playing around because we're about to launch it out for our facilities guys, because we're going to use it as a work tracker for what needs to be done around the homes and in regards to their daily and their weekly checks as well. So you can attach photos. So say if you've got that part in the room where all the paint's peeled off and you need to show, you can attach the photos and you click on it and it will open as such. There's a photo of the team there. But yeah, so you can add the attachments. You can write comments in here that you could write to whoever it was that you were trying to ask what an update was. And I mean, I'm the only person in here at the moment because it's a test, but I'll write in there and then I can just write whatever. Oops, sorry. And then if I press that arrow, it gets sent. So we can use it for lots of things. So you can use it for your audit action plans, you can use it for your master home action plan, you can use it for facility workflows, you can use it for an asset list. And these ones I've used from their templates, and I've maybe just added a few extra columns in. So I haven't had to do a lot of work in getting these particular ones set up. What else can I show you? You can link pretty much anything. So here is our master form. So I don't know about you, but having a group of homes, quite often you'd go to find a template document and somebody's typed in it or somebody's changed it. Using this system, nobody can change the documents that come through. So whatever document we've got, the only person that can change it whoever is the owner of that document. So we can play around with it like that. And the benefit as well is I can actually see who's reading. If I hover on it, I can see who's accessed the document as well. You don't have to have that function on if you don't want to, but for me personally, I find it useful to know what audience I'm hitting and whether or not it is really beneficial to the teams or not. There's also functions to when you upload something. So say, for example, here, you can, if want to, you can turn comments on and people can write comments about the article or ask you questions about what you've put up on the main page. I'm not sure what else there is to show really. I'm really sorry if I've whizzed through that because, as I say, there is a lot within this and a lot that can be done. And I don't want to go boring you with loads of detail really, but it is a really useful system and really you can do anything you want to do with it. It's just playing with it, really, just playing with it and then seeing what you come up with. Is that okay?
Thank you, Amanda. That was brilliant. That was very insightful. And I think the kind of contrast between the flexibility of 365, so you approach things differently to say how the champs team would do so. So I think that kind of shows the flexibility of it. There's a few questions for you, Amanda, if you wouldn't mind answering those. Amanda Hodge has just asked that, is there any link between audits and your care planning system, or do you keep them separate?
So at the moment, the audit is written around our care planning system. So we use person-centered software. And so we have an audit that I've particularly written around person-centered software itself. It doesn't as yet link into the care planning. However, I don't want to go marching up for PCS, but they are doing audits and action planning at the moment. And they are pretty much going to be using this kind of format. So that's the answer to that.
Oh, thank you. And then Michael's just asked, can it send data to regulators?
Yes, so in regards to the audits, so where we have the audits and the action plans, you can export that out into a Excel workbook. and we've used it, and we used it when we had quality monitoring within one of our homes up in London area, and we sent the Excel. We didn't send the actual attached audits, we just sent all of the action plan. We then asked them if they wanted us to send them the audits, and they said no thank you, because we can see that you're actioning on what you've seen, and we can see the outcomes that are happening and the timeframes within. So it's been really useful for us, and the regulators. In fact, one of our homes, Mayflower, they just got an outstanding in their well-led, and a lot of that was around the governance that we've been able to embed in from using the 365. So it's been really positive for us.
That's great. That's helped streamline
everything. The regulators have really liked it. That's
really good. We've got a question from Luke as well, asking, do you and your managers allocate tasks to frontline staff through Outlook 365?
To our care teams, no, not at the moment. Nurses, yes. So our nursing teams, we do. Facilities teams, we do. Head housekeeping, we do. Administrators, so pretty much all of your ancillary staff, we do. We use it at the moment that only anyone that has a Canford Healthcare email can access, but that's a choice we've made for the moment until we're more confident with it around the security elements and so forth. But you can open it up to other email addresses if you would wish to.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other questions for Amanda or the Microsoft team? Please raise your hand or just put it in the chat. I mean, I guess it could be quite useful, Amanda, if you have any feedback for Liam and his colleagues about areas that could be improved on, or particular parts you found difficult to implement. It would be quite interesting to hear your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, the planner, the tasks set up wasn't really available at the time. I think when I was looking, it was slightly different because there's been some updates, hasn't there, throughout the SharePoint and the planners and all of them. The one thing that I would really wish for within Planner was that nobody else can delete a task. So at the moment, if I delegate a task, people can delete them by mistake. I can always find them because I know what I've set and I've got a template thing in the background. But it would be really helpful if the person who's delegated the task was the only person that could delete it or change the date that's been set.
Yeah, no, I can completely see what you mean. And I just want to say, Amanda, as well, that seeing you using it in SharePoint was brilliant, and having that sort of using SharePoint as your base and then putting everything into there is a really nice way. And it was just really nice to see it, everything we then demoed in the care home industry being used and all in there. But I completely agree with Planner. I can see how that would be helpful to have the permissions set for who can delete tasks.
Yeah, and the only other thing I would say is, and I know it is within Power Automate somewhere, and Power Automate I do use. It did take me a little time to figure out some of it because some of it is IT language versus nurses language, and so like going in and figuring that out. But it would be nice that when you set up, especially within lists, for email alerts, that the person creating can set up who those alerts go out. I know you can if you're really tech savvy, but for someone like me, it took me a while to figure out how to do that rather than just ticking a button and doing that.
Sure. No, I'll take that as well. We'll feed this all back. So no, it's really nice to hear, especially because we've done a lot of health examples, but not necessarily care examples. So it's really nice to see the care examples as well.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on for ages. I mean, SharePoint, there's lots of different ways you can utilize and do things within SharePoint, but it's the staff, for any of you that are thinking of doing it, the staff to begin with were a little bit apprehensive, but anyone who uses the way that I've set it up, and I'm more than happy to help anyone if they want to try. I don't mind, because I do think it's beneficial. But for anyone who uses Facebook or your not just Facebook, but your current social platforms, or uses Microsoft in the main, it is quite easy to get around and use. And putting the links in is literally you would click on a button to change, paste in the link, press save, and then it's done. And then you can add a picture if you want. like I've done in regards to the photos. So yeah.
That's great, thank you. And yeah, I'm sure many of the members will probably take up your offer of showing them through how it can be done in more detail. Just on the regulators, Michael's just asked a follow-up question about how can the data be fed? On the data to regulators, can the feeds be automated to send, or is that a manual process?
So the data within, I mean, I use Power BI as well, which we haven't really gone into, which is really, that's really powerful, Power BI, but I didn't even know how to do an Excel sheet originally. So my first lots of graphs within Power BI didn't work very well because I didn't quite know how to get the headings right in tables and things like that. But within Power BI, you can create APIs and that, I believe, that you can send out if need be. But all of it you can share. You can share it with other people by links. So if I want to, I can open up and I can send it to CQC and give them permission to view.
Okay, thank you. And we've just got another question about how. Asking how did you get started, Amanda? So did you seek advice as the best app to use for each task or outcome, or was it just completely on your own initiative?
No, it literally was, as I say, COVID hit us. We were told that, you know, we had to restrict access because obviously travelling around 11 homes, I wasn't able to then go into a different home every day. So I needed to come up with something quickly. We looked at some off-the-shelf products. And to be honest, when I looked at some of the off-the-shelf products, I thought, I'm sure I've seen something similar within Microsoft, you know, when you play with the apps and that online. And then it literally was just going into the office area and clicking on each app to see what it looked like. And then thinking, yeah, we can do something with this and just playing. So no, I didn't have any input, just played.
Yeah, so I guess that's quite good though. Kind of shows that anyone can kind of do it, and it's quite easy to pick up. So it's good story. Really just a question for the Microsoft team actually. I was just wondering, and there's been a couple of questions in the chat about it. Do you sort of see any specific parts of these applications maybe being more tailored towards care providers as such in the future? Is that something which maybe you could take on board? Could you see being developed?
Yeah, no, of course we can feed it back, because that's the thing. I think healthcare just often gets a bit of the limelight when it comes to it.
Yeah.
Because that's what we'll deal with a lot more. But from what I found, even just preparing for this, that we didn't have so many documents about care, and that's the missing bit. So what we'll do is all of the content that we've used here will feed back and say this is the differences with care, this is what's different with care. So we can feed all of that back, and hopefully, because for us we have SharePoints on doing demos to health, but it's not to care. So even for us, just starting a SharePoint on demoing to care would be really helpful, and that's something we can start, and then we can feed back that hopefully that would then sort of seep into the applications as well, and they'd start tailoring it a bit more.
Yeah, and I would agree. Sorry, when I was doing Google was a good friend of mine when I was putting some of this together, and YouTube to get the messages. I could find a lot about how to get data for health, but it wasn't really relevant for the data that we need in social care. And there, like you say, there really wasn't anything tailored towards social care within the Microsoft help guides and that. So it would be good, because there are a lot of us in social care and a lot of us who use this kind of platform. So
no, of course we'll feed all of this back to our team, and we'll see where we can take it, and hopefully we can build out something more for social care.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I mean, also, if you ever need to speak to any care providers directly about more terminology, or just to engage with any of the sector, please feel free to come. I'm sure many of our members are more than happy to engage with you on this, because it's good to get this care sector involved, especially because we are, as you say, quite often overlooked in comparison to healthcare. So I'm sure many of our members will be more than happy to chat to you about that.
Brilliant. Yeah, of course.
If there isn't any further questions, I will look to close this meeting. Is there any further No? Okay, well, thank you, Liam, Tom, Jamie, Amanda, for your presentations. That was incredibly insightful and incredibly helpful. To the rest of the members, if you have any further questions, please feel free to get in touch with me or anyone who's presented today. And I'll also be sending around the recording along with any further information and further videos after the session. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all.
So